Well, good morning, everybody. It is absolutely freezing. It is colder than yesterday. The wind is blowing right in my face, and today is weld day. Oh, one of my buddies cruising by there. The problem I have with the welding, always these challenges, is in this house that I'm renting, these 15 amp plugs. Breakers trip when I try to weld. The weld pops, because it's not getting enough voltage. So I had a buddy of mine install a 20 amp plug out by the spa. Now, I know extension cords aren't the way to go with a welder, but this thing is super beefy. It's very expensive. It's 100 feet. It just makes it from that plug, the 20 amp plug, all the way into here. So I can shut this door part of the way and get in out of this wind, try to get this project welded so I don't burn another whole day. So it is absolutely cold though. We'll see if I can work with that today. Alright, so a lot of work getting this set up in here to get out of the wind and the freezing cold. So I got the corners all welded, not too bad. I'm just laying these in here now. Of course I have to mock up the big one as a template to measure everything out and then copy it on the little one. Lots of measurements, 10, 28, 42, center, 42, 28, 10. And I was going nuts because I realized the bed curves. So while I had this squared, I was getting different measurements from the edge of the bed to the corners, and it was just driving me crazy. Thought I was in some kind of Bermuda Triangle. Anyway, I got it figured out because the bed isn't even. The bed curves, and this even curves a little because I guess the former owner had some fun with it. But I've been working on that for about an hour, and I just got the four corners done, and it's all square. I'm going to start welding these in now, cleaning up all the edges and then welding them in place, and we'll see where that takes us. So it's coming together pretty good. Try not to blow through the thinner stuff, but that looks like it'll do. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these welded in place now, and I was trying to avoid blowing through the thinner wall steel as I accommodate penetrating the thicker stuff, and as you can see a couple holes there that I blasted through. So then I turned it down a little bit, and you can see that second weld came out much better on both sides. And so we're just going to keep working our way through, get this all done, and see where we end up again. But it is coming together. Just trying to be real careful, make sure everything's done right, since it's steel. Alright, so I got the rest of that welded together, as you've seen there. Threw it up on the truck here. I'm putting 225 pounds directly in the center. Very little flex again, like yesterday. Of course, a 350 pound quad is going to have the weight distributed to four corners, mostly in the front, and then some in the back because of the engine placement on the vehicle. But again, I'm concluding this is going to work. Of course, this is the smaller one. It's going to go towards the rear. I have yet to put together the larger one. I think it's going to hold. Most of these welds are pretty good. There's some that are a little bumpy and weird. I like the welder. I'm not a very good welder, but I notice sometimes I get just a really smooth, nice arc going, and other times I don't change a thing and then it'll just pop and do weird stuff. But I think it's going to work. We'll sand these down, make them look pretty on the ends here. And then of course I'll paint the whole thing. Now we're gonna move on to assembling the wider one. All right, just as I was getting set up to start tacking this one into place, we ran out of wire. It's about 3 o'clock. Take you an hour to get to the store and back. By then it's gonna be almost dark, even colder. So tonight we're gonna call it. But because of Christmas vacation, I'm off tomorrow, so we'll be back at this tomorrow morning in the cold. So we're gonna clean up and finish up tomorrow. Well, good morning everybody. It's December 29th and the wind has subsided, but it is still very cold out here.
Yes.
So a little breeze here and there. We're gonna weld the larger of the two racks together today, and then I've got the wood here. Again, looking for lightweight, so I went with 3/8. Not the best product on earth for decking, you know, but I'm just trying to make a cheesy couple $100 over the rail ATV rack, so I think it's gonna work. So we're gonna try to do all that in the next couple hours. Here we go. Okay, so it's been about another hour, and I pretty much got this one all the way welded up, and I just figured out some more in terms of welding. I've slowed down the wire feed a lot. Started with a shorter piece of wire on the tip, cutting it down, just trying to get some better results. My welds started out looking like kind of popping all over the place, and then now they're starting to end up with a little more consistency and better penetration. I can't get a wire brush in there to make it look pretty like a real welder does. But anyway, I'm happy with that as far as strength goes. The next deal is to cut the plywood and set it on there and then throw it up on the truck. See what it all looks like. It's exciting. This is coming together. You know, this dream of ours to go duning a year and, let's see, September 2017, and over the last year and a few months we've made it happen, just slowly but surely. All right, there she is, sitting up on the truck. That's the whole deck space. It's going to carry both quads here. Now, if this was a nice brand new truck, I wouldn't be dragging these raw metal things over the bed rails, but I honestly don't care much about this truck. I'm happy to have it and I appreciate it. I originally bought this truck when we were living back down in the city to haul paddleboards. That was it. It's turned out to be a good little camping truck for us for now. I can always come back over and do Duraback on this. So we'll switch gears from sparks and fumes to sawdust.
Wow.
There it is.
That's scary.
Quad rack number 1. This thing will hold the quad, no problem. Yeah, so now we'll cut the other piece of wood and see how it goes. Well, everybody, there she is. Oh yeah, there's so much strength here.
And look it. Yeah, I don't think this thing won't break.
Nope.
We just need a few hooks to tie down the quads.
Well, the next step I'm thinking is we're gonna have to determine how to mount it to the truck. Simplest way is like if you were to mount a camper shell, just use some bolts up and down the bed rails. Then the next is going to be that rail across the front. All right, she looks good under here. I guess the easiest way, right, would be to pull the wood out and then drill through the hardest part first, and then let it come through here and just bolt it 4 times each. 4 times on this one, 4 times on that one. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Alright everybody, hope you saw me wrestle that thing in there. I had to bend it up in the middle to get this edge to tuck in underneath here. So I bent it with the little step stool to get it wedged in there, and then I pulled the step stool out and it's in there for good. So I think it's gonna work. What do you think? There she is. That is the ATV rack. I wasn't sure with how many verticals I would go with. I wanted to go as light as possible, so I went with 3. This isn't going to flex. I don't think the middle's going to flex. That top rail is to protect the back window, of course, and then accommodate the front tires of the quad. And then this, to me, is just like a safety feature, so the quad tires just can't walk off the side. Well, there she is. Be nice to get a little square plug, slam in there. All right, well, you guys, there's the rack. So the next step from here is going to be actually mounting it to the truck bed, of course. And then before I mount the wood to the frame of the rack, I will go get the quads and load them on here and just see how it drives. Of course, we'll do some testing with that. So all in, I'm at $159 with the steel and with the wood. And I'm going to get some paint and some AstroTurf. I bet you I'm going to come out under $200 for this rack that I can use. If I get rid of this truck one day and I get a real tow rig and we get a real camper, I could use this rack for anything if I just hang on to it. I always have it, so that's cool. I'm going to have to find a place for it in that tiny garage now. So that's it for this weekend. Appreciate all the comments, you guys. Daryl, trailer's looking good as we continue on our dream to go camping as a family again. So that's it for this weekend. So I guess when you're cutting steel on a plastic table, all those metal shards melt into the table. So since the generator flew away when I come in for lunch now, I have a camera on the garage. And I just keep an eye on it while we're eating. I think it came out pretty good.